Practice speaking and reading out loud with this English shadowing exercise. Welcome to LearnEnglishPodcast.com. I'm your host, Wason, and today I'm thrilled to bring you an exceptional English shadowing exercise that will transform your speaking and reading skills. If you've been struggling with pronunciation, fluency, or confidence when speaking English, this lesson is specifically designed for you. In this comprehensive video, you'll discover how shadowing, a powerful technique used by language learners worldwide, can dramatically improve your English speaking abilities. We'll work through engaging story content at Level 3, perfect for intermediate learners looking to advance their skills. By the end of this session, you'll not only have practiced an effective language learning method, but also gained valuable vocabulary and natural speech patterns that you can immediately apply to your everyday conversations. What is English shadowing? English shadowing is a language learning technique where you listen to native English speech and repeat it immediately afterward, mimicking not just the words, but also the intonation, rhythm, and pronunciation. This method creates a powerful connection between listening and speaking skills, training your brain to process and produce English more naturally. The shadowing technique works because it trains your mouth muscles to form English sounds correctly, improves your listening comprehension at natural speaking speeds, helps you internalize grammar patterns without memorizing rules, builds confidence in your speaking abilities, enhances your overall fluency and natural-sounding speech. Many language experts consider shadowing one of the most effective methods for improving pronunciation and speaking fluency. Unlike traditional repeat-after-me exercises, shadowing creates a more dynamic and immersive experience that better simulates real-world language use. How to get the most from this shadowing exercise? To maximize your learning from today's exercise, I recommend following these steps. 1. First, simply listen to understand the general meaning of the passage. 2. Next, listen again while reading the text silently. 3. Then, begin shadowing by repeating what you hear with a slight delay. 4. Finally, try to shadow in real time, speaking almost simultaneously with the recording. Don't worry about perfection on your first attempt. Shadowing is a skill that improves with practice. Even advanced language learners find it challenging initially, but the benefits are substantial as you continue. The benefits of regular shadowing practice. Consistent shadowing practice offers numerous advantages for English learners. Improved pronunciation. You'll naturally begin to sound more like a native speaker. Enhanced listening skills. Your ability to understand natural speech will improve dramatically. Increased vocabulary retention. Words and phrases stick better when you speak them aloud. Better intonation and rhythm. Your speech will sound more natural and less robotic. Boosted confidence. Regular practice leads to greater comfort when speaking English. Many of our LearnEnglishPodcast.com students report significant improvements in their speaking abilities after just a few weeks of regular shadowing practice. Today's shadowing text, a London adventure. Today's shadowing exercise features an engaging story about exploring London. The text is at Level 3, making it perfect for intermediate learners who want to challenge themselves while still understanding the content. The story follows a visitor experiencing the sights and sounds of London, providing both entertainment and practical vocabulary. Let's begin with our shadowing exercise. My first day in London was a whirlwind of excitement and new experiences. As I stepped out of my hotel near Russell Square, the bustling city immediately enveloped me. Double-decker red buses zoomed past, and the distinctive sound of British accents filled the air around me. I had been dreaming of visiting London for years, and now I was finally here. I decided to start my adventure by visiting the British Museum, which was conveniently located just a short walk from my accommodation. The impressive neoclassical building took my breath away as I approached. Inside, I was overwhelmed by the sheer volume of historical artifacts from around the world. The Rosetta Stone and the Egyptian mummies were particularly fascinating, and I spent hours examining the detailed exhibits. By midday, my stomach was growling, so I found a charming cafe nearby. I ordered a traditional English breakfast with eggs, bacon, sausage, baked beans, and toast, even though it was already past breakfast time. The friendly server didn't mind and told me that breakfast foods are served all day in many London establishments. After refueling, I decided to use the famous London Underground, or the Tube as locals call it, to reach Westminster. Navigating the colorful map was easier than I had anticipated, and within minutes I was emerging from Westminster Station to the magnificent sight of Big Ben and the Houses of Parliament. The iconic clock tower was even more impressive in person than in photographs. I crossed Westminster Bridge, taking in the panoramic views of the River Thames. Street performers entertained tourists, and artists sketched quick portraits of passers-by. The London Eye dominated the skyline on the South Bank, and I made a mental note to return for a ride later in my trip. As the afternoon progressed, I strolled through St. James's Park, watching the pelicans and waterfowl that call the park home. The perfectly manicured gardens were a peaceful contrast to the busy streets. At the far end of the park, Buckingham Palace stood majestically. Although I had missed the changing of the guard ceremony, the palace's grandeur was still impressive. By early evening I found myself in Covent Garden, where street performers showcased incredible talents to appreciative crowds. I wandered through the market, admiring handcrafted goods and unique souvenirs. For dinner, I chose a restaurant offering modern British cuisine, where I savored a delicious meal of roast lamb with seasonal vegetables. As darkness fell, the city transformed. Historical buildings were illuminated, and the streets took on a magical quality. I made my way back to my hotel, tired but exhilarated by all I had seen and experienced. London had already exceeded my expectations, and this was only day one of my adventure. Now, let's practice shadowing this passage together. I'll read it again at a slightly slower pace so you can follow along more easily. Hello there. Just a friendly reminder that you're watching a LearnEnglishPodcast.com video. I'm Wason, and we're working on improving your English through shadowing exercises. Let's continue with our practice. Advanced shadowing techniques. Now that we've practiced basic shadowing with our London Adventure text, let's explore some advanced techniques to further enhance your learning. 1. Prosody shadowing. Prosody refers to the patterns of rhythm and sound in language. With prosody shadowing, you focus specifically on matching, the rise and fall of pitch, the stress patterns on certain syllables, the natural rhythm and pacing of speech, the emotional tone of the speaker. Try shadowing our London text again, but this time pay special attention to these prosodic elements. Notice how certain words receive more emphasis than others, and how the pitch changes to indicate questions or excitement. 2. Content shadowing. With content shadowing, you focus on understanding and internalizing the meaning while you shadow. After each sentence or paragraph, pause the audio. Summarize what you just heard in your own words. Continue shadowing the next section. This technique helps you process not just the sounds but also the meaning of what you're saying, which is crucial for real-world communication. 3. Blind shadowing. Blind shadowing is more challenging but extremely effective. Listen to the audio without looking at the text. Shadow what you hear without visual support. Check the text afterward to identify any words or phrases you missed. This technique strengthens your listening comprehension and trains your ear to catch the nuances of natural English speech. Common shadowing challenges and solutions. Many English learners encounter specific challenges when practicing shadowing. Let's address some common issues. Challenge: the speaker is too fast. Solution: begin with slower audio or use technology to reduce the playback speed slightly. As your skills improve, gradually increase to natural speed. Remember that it's normal to miss words. Initially focus on capturing the rhythm first, and accuracy will follow with practice. Challenge: certain sounds are difficult to pronounce. Solution: identify specific phonemes, sound units, that give you trouble and practice them in isolation before incorporating them into your shadowing. For example, if the th sound is challenging, practice words like the, think, and through separately. Challenge: maintaining concentration for long passages. Solution: start with shorter segments of 30-60 seconds and gradually build up your stamina. Taking brief breaks between shadowing sessions helps maintain focus and prevents mental fatigue. Challenge: feeling self-conscious about speaking aloud. Solution: practice in a private space where you feel comfortable speaking at full volume. Recording yourself can also help you become more accustomed to hearing your own voice in English. Integrating shadowing into your daily routine. Consistency is key to seeing results with any language learning method. Here are some practical ways to incorporate shadowing into your daily life. Morning routine. Shadow a short passage while getting ready for your day. Commute time. Use your travel time to practice with audio on headphones. Lunch break. Spend 10-15 minutes shadowing during your break. Evening wind down. Make shadowing part of your relaxation routine before bed. Even 15 minutes of focused shadowing practice daily can yield significant improvements over time. The key is regularity rather than marathon sessions. Beyond shadowing, complementary practices. While shadowing is powerful, combining it with other language learning activities creates a more rounded approach. Reading aloud. After shadowing a passage, try reading it aloud on your own without the audio guide. This helps you transition from imitation to independent production. Recording and comparing. Record yourself shadowing, then compare your speech to the original. This self-assessment helps identify specific areas for improvement. Vocabulary mining. Extract useful vocabulary and phrases from your shadowing texts and create flashcards or a personal phrasebook. This helps you actively use what you've practiced. Conversation practice. Use the phrases and intonation patterns you've learned through shadowing in real conversations. This bridges the gap between practice and authentic communication. The science behind shadowing. Shadowing is supported by solid linguistic research. Studies show that this technique activates the language processing centers in your brain, strengthens the neural pathways associated with language production, improves working memory for language elements, enhances phonological awareness and pronunciation accuracy. Dr. Alexander Arguel, a renowned polyglot who speaks over 50 languages, popularized shadowing as a core technique for language acquisition. His research demonstrates that shadowing accelerates the internalization of language patterns and significantly reduces foreign accent. Customizing your shadowing practice. As you become more comfortable with basic shadowing, you can tailor the practice to your specific needs. For pronunciation improvement, focus on shadowing materials with clear articulation and standard accents. Repeat challenging sounds and words multiple times. For fluency building, choose materials with natural conversational flow and practice maintaining the rhythm without pausing. For vocabulary expansion, select content with rich contextual vocabulary in your areas of interest and create word lists from your shadowing materials. For business English, shadow professional conversations, presentations, or meetings to acquire formal language patterns and business terminology. Let's practice again. Now that we've explored various aspects of shadowing, let's return to our London adventure text for another practice session. This time, try to match not just the words, but also the intonation patterns and rhythm of speech. As a reminder, you're watching LearnEnglishPodcast.com with me, Wason. We're dedicated to helping you improve your English through effective, research-backed methods like shadowing. Let's continue with another passage for shadowing practice. The next morning, I woke up early, eager to continue exploring London. I had planned to visit the Tower of London, one of the city's most historic landmarks. After a quick breakfast at a local bakery, where I enjoyed a delicious pain au chocolat and a strong cup of coffee, I headed to the nearest tube station. The London Underground during rush hour was an experience in itself. Commuters moved with purposeful efficiency, following the unwritten rules of tube etiquette, standing on the right side of escalators, avoiding eye contact, and maintaining a respectful silence. I tried to blend in, but my tourist map probably gave me away. Emerging from Tower Hill Station, I was immediately struck by the imposing fortress that has stood guard over London for nearly 1,000 years. The Tower of London's stone walls seemed to whisper stories of the past, tales of royalty, prisoners, and the famous ravens that are said to protect the kingdom. I joined a tour led by a yeoman warder, commonly known as a beefeater, dressed in his distinctive ceremonial uniform. His theatrical storytelling brought to life the tower's dark history of executions, imprisoned royals, and mysterious disappearances. The Crown Jewels exhibition was a highlight, with a magnificent imperial state crown and its 2,868 diamonds leaving me in awe of British royal heritage. After spending the morning at the Tower, I walked across Tower Bridge, stopping midway to admire the panoramic views of London's skyline. The juxtaposition of historic buildings alongside modern architectural marvels like the Shard created a fascinating visual contrast that epitomizes London's character. For lunch, I decided to visit Borough Market, one of London's oldest and most renowned food markets. The aromas of international cuisines mingled in the air as I wandered through the stalls. I eventually settled on a gourmet grilled cheese sandwich made with artisanal British cheddar and sourdough bread, simple but extraordinarily delicious. The afternoon was dedicated to exploring the South Bank, a vibrant cultural area along the Thames. I browsed through second-hand books at the open-air book market under Waterloo Bridge, and watched skateboarders performing impressive tricks at the Undercroft skate space. The Tate Modern, housed in a former power station, offered a thought-provoking collection of contemporary art that challenged my perceptions and sparked my imagination. As evening approached, I decided to experience London's famous theatre scene. I managed to secure a last-minute ticket to a performance in the West End, London's equivalent of Broadway. The production was spectacular, with world-class actors bringing the story to life on stage. The theatre's ornate Victorian architecture added to the magical atmosphere of the evening. After the show, I strolled through Leicester Square and Piccadilly Circus, where the energy of London at night was palpable. The illuminated billboards, street performers, and diverse crowds created a carnival-like atmosphere. I found a traditional English pub where locals and tourists alike gathered to enjoy pints of beer and lively conversation. The friendly bartender recommended a local craft ale, which perfectly concluded my second day in this magnificent city. The role of comprehensible input in language learning. Shadowing works so effectively because it aligns with Stephen Krashen's theory of comprehensible input, the idea that we acquire language by understanding messages slightly above our current level. When you shadow content that you can mostly understand but that also contains some new elements, you create ideal conditions for language acquisition. This is why we've chosen a Level 3 text for today's exercise. It provides the right balance of familiar and new language elements to stretch your abilities without overwhelming you. setting realistic goals for your shadowing practice. As with any skill, improvement in shadowing comes gradually. Here's a realistic progression you might expect. Weeks 1 to 2, focus on following along, even if you miss words or struggle with pronunciation. Weeks 3 to 4, aim for about 70% accuracy in reproducing the text with improved rhythm. Weeks 5 to 8, work toward 90% accuracy with increasingly natural intonation. Months 3 to 6, develop the ability to shadow at natural speed with good pronunciation. Remember that language learning is not linear. You'll experience plateaus and sudden breakthroughs. The key is consistent practice and patience with yourself. Creating your own shadowing materials. While we provide excellent shadowing resources here at learnenglishpodcast.com, you can also create your own practice materials based on your interests. News broadcasts. Short news segments offer clear pronunciation and relevant vocabulary. Documentaries. Choose topics you're passionate about to maintain engagement. Interviews. These provide examples of natural conversation patterns. Audiobooks. Fiction can be especially engaging for extended practice. When selecting materials, consider clear audio quality, appropriate speed for your level, content that interests you, availability of transcripts, tracking your progress. Measuring improvement helps maintain motivation. Consider these methods for tracking your shadowing progress. 1. Regular recordings. Record yourself shadowing the same passage once a month to hear your improvement over time. 2. Comprehension checks. Note how much you understand without reading the transcript. 3. Speed benchmarks. Track how well you can keep up with increasingly faster speech. 4. Accent reduction. Note specific sounds that become easier to pronounce accurately. Many of our students keep a language journal documenting their shadowing practice, noting challenges, breakthroughs, and new vocabulary acquired through the process. Conclusion: your path forward with shadowing. Today, we've explored the powerful technique of English shadowing and practiced with engaging content about London adventures. This method offers one of the most direct paths to improved pronunciation, fluency, and confidence in English speaking. Remember that language learning is a journey, not a destination. Each shadowing session builds your skills incrementally, creating neural pathways that make English production more automatic and natural over time. I encourage you to make shadowing a regular part of your English practice routine. Start with just 10-15 minutes daily, and you'll be amazed at how your speaking abilities transform in the coming months. Thank you for joining me today on LearnEnglishPodcast.com. I'm Wason, and I'm committed to helping you achieve your English language goals through effective, research-backed methods. If you found this video helpful, please don't forget to subscribe to our LearnEnglishPodcast.com channel. By subscribing, you'll gain access to our complete library of English learning resources, including more shadowing exercises, vocabulary builders, grammar explanations, and cultural insights. Hit that subscribe button now to continue your English learning journey with us. Until next time, happy shadowing and happy English learning.